All right, German internationals Niclas Füllkrug and Antonio Rüdiger were involved in a heated altercation, shall we say, on the training ground as the host nation Germany prepare to get Euro 2024 underway. Now, we do still have Gab and Jan still here with us, but before we get word from them, let's hear what Toni Kroos had to say about it all. He said, "I see it as a good thing when situations like this occur. Although I had to take the wind out of the sails a little, it wasn't meant to be taken too seriously. The only person Niclas was angry with was the referee. He knows it's his own fault if he gets into a duel with Toni." Right. Do you agree that that's a good thing, Stevie?
Absolutely.
A good thing?
Absolutely. Yeah, listen, it's only a good thing when nobody gets hurt. Obviously, if it goes too far, then that's a different ballgame. But it shows there's an edge. And teams need an edge to win. And particularly when you're at home, you need to be up for the cup. And so there's no question, this group of players is up for it. And if you look at the names on the jerseys, and you think they're up for it, they've got a chance. And they have got a chance. But no, I have no problem with this at all. It happens quite a lot, but I'll tell you what, it does show that there's an edge there, and as a coach, you want your team to have an edge.
Was that Jan umming and ahhing at the response from Toni Kroos there?
Well, I liked it. I'm with Stevie on this one. So here's the deal in Germany. So there is football fever. They're waiting for the Euros starting on Friday. So they have one open session, 4,000 people. There are thousands who want to get in. And particularly on that training, Rüdiger and Füllkrug have a go at each other. I love it. And if you have two favorites in the German teams who will do that, it's Füllkrug and Rüdiger. I think every team need that. I'm so tired of teams saying, the environment in the dressing room, we all love each other, and we have to demand things from each other. And sometimes for people who have not been in a dressing room, it's hard to understand why it is so. Because I see teams around, I see my own Norway team, I always see that they say, the environment is so good, we are so good with each other, but please demand more from each other, that maybe we will be at the Euros as well. So I think what Rüdiger did there, and Rüdiger can annoy you, he can annoy you, but he's a fantastic... But he's a fantastic centre-half. Füllkrug, a late bloomer coming into that team, a bit annoyed that Kai Havertz will probably play striker instead of him. Go for it! That is how Germany maybe have an outsider chance to win this championship.
I'm sure you were the glue that kept the dressing room together, Ale, during your playing day.
I was some sort of glue. I'll say this. This is 100% normal. And in preparation for tournaments, big tournaments like this, these things happen all the time. And I'm just going to tell you a little story about us going into 2011 Copa America. We had spent 2-3 weeks together in Dallas in hot weather in the summer. It's terrible to train. 2-a-days, 30 players had been called in. Only 22 were going to the tournament. So it's competition all the time. You're competing. You got the big timers that knew were going to be part of the team. And then you have other players that were sort of in the bubble. And there's competition. And there's competition to prepare for what is a big tournament. By the time the first game comes in that tournament, you're ready to kill somebody. You are, you're like a caged animal because you've been playing against the same people, the same players, time and time and time again. And it's been competition. It's been intense. And you kind of feel like, okay, now let's get this tournament going. So it's absolutely 100% normal for somebody to have a blow up. That allows the air to just go out a little, to blow off some steam. Everybody laughs about it. And I guarantee you that by the time they got to dinner, these guys were laughing about it and having a good time and actually giving each other a hard time at dinner.
It's quite funny, actually. Because it all starts off with a little five-a-side, and somebody gets caught, and it's like, you okay?
Yeah.
All right, no bother. Yeah. And then 3 days later, okay. And then another 3 days later, that's the third time you've done that. Yeah. You do that again, and then the next time, then it's fantastic.
And that's probably what happens here, right?
That's
okay,
great.
well, obviously that is Germany in action against Scotland for the opener as the host nation. We are so close to kick off to Euro 2024. Germany are in Group A alongside Switzerland, Hungary and Scotland, and they are big favourites as well.
Gab, Scotland?
No, Germany.
Oh,
sorry, Stevie.
What?
Gav has landed in Germany. He's been there a few hours now. Can you feel the excitement in the streets there, Gab?
I think you can. I mean, look, I'm in Berlin. This is a very sort of spread out city. It's a low-rise city, but already you do see people on the street. People are arriving from different parts of Europe. There is signage up, and guys, people are realizing, we're 36 hours away from the opening game. Germany hosting a major competition, which obviously hasn't happened since the 2006 World Cup, which didn't turn out great for them in the end. But I think the excitement's there, and I mean, I can't wait. I'll be on that plane to Munich on Friday morning, and Mark Ogden and I will be there for the opening game, and I'm hyped and I'm amped.
Yes,
can you have a better opening game? The host nation against Scotland, McGinn, McTominay, McGregor, Rob Roy, Braveheart. This is going to be a fantastic game. I tell you here and now, Scotland will beat Germany. You will see. You will see.
Oh,
Scotland will win. We'll see.
They'll
take it away.
That if you're Xabi Alonso, you're Simon Rolfes, you're Bayer Leverkusen, you're thinking, okay, Florian, have a good tournament. Enjoy yourself, but don't be great. Don't be great. Because while he says that, hey, that's been the conversation, no, he's staying at Bayer Leverkusen. If he has one of those tournaments, the tournament that I think he's capable of having, and that Germany needs him to have in order for them to be a true threat in this competition, that profile is going to be elevated to the point to maybe we're not seeing him with Bayer Leverkusen.
Now, I don't know if you guys already noticed, but we've already had the obligatory mention of Kai Havertz from Nyainaga Fjortoft in the show right now when we were talking about Niclas Füllkrug and why he might be a little bit pent up. So let's talk about Kai Havertz with you, because you've been defending him all season, Jan, and even before that as well. Is he enough, is his role enough in this Germany side to fire them to the Euro 2024 title?
He is, absolutely. I've always been a big fan of Kai Havertz. I remember him from being a young kid in Leverkusen, following him from there over Chelsea, of course. Most remember that for his winning goal at the Champions League final. But what I like about Kai Havertz is that he takes on challenges like that. Remember, people had a big go at him. This was a failure. It was a flop at the beginning of the season as Arsenal, and he turned into one of their key players. He's not your typical number 9, so you will know that when they lose, if they lose against Scotland the first game, the first thing will be, why don't we have a proven number 9? That is the first discussion that will go on. But Kai Havertz is very adjustable, and he is a strength now to this German team. He is also a kind of the glue in that team. There is more worrying departments, like Manuel Neuer suddenly now start doing mistakes at the end of his career, and Gundogan, Kroos, so will that function and everything. But Kai Havertz will be one of the great. And imagine playing as a striker for Germany when you have Florian Wirtz, as Ali's talking about, fantastic player, Musiala, maybe Leroy Sané will give you a pass, Toni Kroos. I mean, I have heard worse working environment in my life.
So if that's all the good stuff then, Jan, where are the weaknesses with this German side?
Yeah, I touched upon it, but Manuel Neuer now, I'm reading all the German papers, all the media is on Neuer. Should he be changed? No, per Ter Stegen. Remember, German football is always quarreling about the keepers. In '86, Uli Stein was sent home, and in 2006, Klinsmann said, Lehmann is my number 1, not Oliver Kahn. There's always something going on there. And then the balance in midfield, I'm quite interesting how they will do that, because the poster boys, Musiala and Wirtz, okay, they're going to play, but that means they have to be good going forward and all that kind of thing. Gundogan, who didn't have the best last game, the last friendly Germany was playing, he wasn't at the top. What about Toni Kroos coming back? We all love that, don't we? But there is a team going on. He has to play from the beginning, and your captain, you need to be gesetzt, so he has to be prioritized. So Gundogan will play. So find that balance. That is the big thing for Julian Nagelsmann. How does he mix the team? So there is a lot of challenges, but I think that it's a cliche, but that first game for a host nation, that will kind of make the mood in Germany. Germany is a football mad nation, but they can turn around as well. So the Scotland game on Friday is unbelievable, a key game for them.
And very quickly about that balance that Jan is talking about. there's a reason as to why Robert Andrich is on the field. And that is exactly to provide that presence of a guy who gives you physicality, who gives you legs, who's going to cover the ground. Because I imagine that Julian Nagelsmann looks at his midfield and says, okay, we have a lot of players that can get forward. And in Toni Kroos, we have a guy that can set the pace of the game. But who can lay a tackle here? Who can win a 50-50 challenge? Who can cover the space? And it's Robert Andrich. And we talk about important players for Germany. If you look at the structure of this team, Robert Andrich, who wasn't even in the picture to begin with when Julian Nagelsmann took over, but his great season with Bayer Leverkusen has put him in a position in which he becomes critical to their success. Because if he plays at the same sort of level that he's playing alongside Granit Xhaka, Bayer Leverkusen, he does that with Germany, and Granit Xhaka, that role is being played by Toni Kroos, then Germany becomes a different team through the midfield.
Let's talk about Toni Kroos and just the role that he plays in a leadership role as well, Gab, because we've just seen that obviously he was involved in trying to diffuse the situation between Füllkrug and Antonio Rüdiger there. You've got a player who's really playing well at the moment. It's almost like there's another manager on the pitch with them right now.
Yeah, and look, I mean, people would look at this squad and say, well, there's a whole bunch of sort of other managers there, because you also have, Thomas Muller on the bench, you have Manuel Neuer in the lineup, you have Antonio Rüdiger himself, phenomenal leader at the back. It's obviously an important role, but then you got to go out, step on the pitch, and make it work. And when I look at this, I kind of agree with Ali. I mean, Robert Andrich, fine, but ultimately, we're not talking about the second coming of Hans-Peter Briegel here. How you provide that? I vintage reference there for the oldies. But look, I don't know how you provide that balance in midfield with Kroos at his age and Gundogan as well at his age. Gundogan, not exactly a pressing machine, incidentally, playing in that number 10 role. Might we need to see some tweaks further on? Wirtz and Musiala, phenomenal players. They're both players who like to come inside. That's why Havertz plays, because he's got the intelligence, the movement of that, ahead of Füllkrug, who maybe might rely more on crosses. I look at this defense. I mean, with all due respect, Mittelstadt. Joshua Kimmich is fantastic. I'd have him in midfield personally, but that ship seems to have sailed for now. But he's another guy who, would rather come inside as well. So Nagelsmann, I have a lot of faith in him that he can find the tweaks. The question is, can he do that with the national team when you only have, 8, 10 training sessions, and then you're on the pitch in the opening game in Munich against Scotland with the Tartan Army and all the pressure in the world? I can't wait. There's a lot of questions to be answered.
OK, so let's take a look at the odds when it comes to Euro 2024. Germany, third favourites as the host nation. However, Jan says that Scotland are going to beat them in the first game, and it probably wouldn't be too good for them getting beaten in the first game, Jan. Have you not got them getting out of Group A?
Scotland will, of course, they will be in the next knockout stage, but Germany will follow them. But I see always these tip before every tournament that England is the favorite. For me, England is not favorite. I'm more in a Portugal camp myself, but that the England team will have their strength going forward. But let's take down that pressure on them. By the way, I think that is Germany and England I will put on the same level.
Germany and England on the same level. How far have you got Germany going, LA?
I say quarters, and look, let's not forget, and when we're having these conversations about Germany, we sort of put a whole lot of weight in the fact that the tournament is being played in Germany, and as Jan alluded to it, this can play against Germany if you're not getting the results, if you're not playing well. Regardless, I suppose that is an advantage playing at home, and I think that will push this team forward. But Germany hasn't had success in international tournaments as of late. They sure haven't. In fact, they've been disappointing. And look, were they great with Hansi Flick? No, that's why he's no longer the manager. Are they overwhelming under Julian Nagelsmann? Have they been overwhelming? Not really. They've been better, but not. I think the bar was very low. And so let's not get crazy as to what the potential of this team can be. If they play at a very high level and those attacking players have a wonderful tournament, an outstanding tournament, yeah, I see them in the quarters, threatening towards the semifinals, but that's about it. At quarters, I think, is where the ceiling is for this team.
Well, that's why they're third favourites, because of the potential. Nothing to do with what they are right now. Because actually, I don't think we really know what they are right now.
So tell me, Friday, Scotland or Germany?
You've got to go with Germany. I mean, I love Jan's enthusiasm, but unfortunately, I don't quite share it.
Stefan Niclas will start calling you then.
Yeah, I don't quite share it. On paper, this is a good side, but it's whether it gels together. It's whether it gets the so-called talent, the Vertses and Musialas. If they get them going and get them on the ball, then yeah, they can go as far as they want. But they do have some problems. I think I'm with Gab with the two fullbacks. And certainly, if anybody can get at Kimmich, I don't care who it is, they're going to do him, because one-on-one defensively, he's not good. But I think as much as anybody, one of the keys for them is Neuer. If he can make some saves at the right time and keep clean sheets, this team can grow. But if he does what he did against Greece, then that'll take the air out the balloon for Germany big time. If he starts performing like that in these games. So I think Neuer is about as important as anybody else. Because if he's on it and he's at it and he can make some big saves when it matters, that'll get this team going.
The one thing about Manuel Neuer, and I agree with you, Stevie, is the fact that it's not just what we saw against Greece. If you saw the performance and his performances with Bayern Munich towards the end of the season, it's mistake after mistake after mistake. And you kind of go, well, we don't expect that from Manuel Neuer. We don't expect that from Manuel Neuer. We don't expect that from Manuel Neuer. But if he keeps doing it, you kind of go, well, I guess we expect that from Manuel Neuer. The end of the season for him, for Bayern Munich, and the mistakes that we are seeing from him are worrisome. They are worrisome. And if he doesn't play at a high level, then Germany's in trouble.